When autumn rolls in and most gardens fade to dull browns, yours doesn't have to join the crowd. Picture this instead: lush evergreens, deep purples, and rich textures that thrive as the air cools. It's not wishful thinking, it's entirely possible with the right perennials. Over the next few minutes, I'll show you the exact plants that can turn October from the end of your gardening season into one of its most breathtaking highlights. But before we jump in, do me a quick favor. If you love learning how to keep your garden beautiful year-round, tap that subscribe button. I share practical, real-world gardening advice every week. And if you find even one plant today that inspires you, drop a comment and tell me which one it helps shape future videos for our growing community. Now let's dive into these resilient fall favorites. Why October gardens don't have to fade away. October presents a real challenge for gardeners. The growing season is slowing, the temperature dips steadily, and many plants are slipping into dormancy. But that doesn't mean your landscape has to look bare or lifeless. There are hardy perennials perfectly suited for this transition. Plants that don't just endure cooler weather, but flourish in it. These tough performers burst into color, show off their bold foliage, or add architectural beauty when everything else begins to shut down. The perennials we'll cover today aren't fragile or fussy. They're reliable, frost-tolerant, pest-resistant, and often low-maintenance enough to thrive with minimal care. Whether your garden has full sun, partial shade, or damp soil, there's something here to fit your space. What truly makes these plants special is how they bridge the seasons. They carry your garden's beauty from late September right through November, adding color and texture when most plants are fading away. Some lure in the year's last pollinators, while others hold their evergreen leaves strong through winter. A few even surprise you with a final flash of color when you least expect it. Plant 1. Hellebore, the evergreen winter rose. Also known as the Lenten rose or Christmas rose, hellebores may be famous for their late winter blooms, but it's their foliage that makes them October all-stars. These perennials have thick, glossy, evergreen leaves that stay fresh and vibrant when most plants are turning brown. Their deep green color adds structure and visual weight to autumn borders, while their leathery texture resists frost without damage. Hellebores are perfect for shady areas, think under trees or along the north side of buildings. They thrive in rich, well-drained soil that stays slightly moist but not soggy. Once they've established strong roots, they handle dry spells with ease. They're also a dream for low-maintenance gardeners, naturally deer-resistant, rarely troubled by disease, and long-lived. A light mulch in October helps protect their roots and keeps them looking tidy. Use hellebores in woodland gardens, shaded pathways, or under deciduous trees where dappled light filters through. And come late winter, they'll reward you with some of the very first blooms of the year, a perfect bonus for those who plan ahead. Plant 2. Sedum Autumn Joy, the shape-shifting showstopper. Moving into sunnier territory, Sedum Autumn Joy is a true multi-season performer. This succulent starts showing off in late summer with clusters of soft pink blooms, but as fall deepens, those flowers slowly shift into rich tones of copper, bronze, and deep red. By October, the transformation is stunning. When frost arrives, the flower heads dry into sculptural seed clusters that stand tall all winter long. Snow resting on their tops turns them into natural winter ornaments. Even better, birds, especially finches, love to visit for the seeds, adding movement and life to your garden when everything else is quiet. Sedum thrives in full sun and actually prefers poor, well-drained soil. Too much fertility can make its stems floppy. Once established, it's remarkably drought-tolerant and pest-resistant, with deer rarely bothering it. Maintenance is almost effortless. Leave the dried heads standing through winter for beauty and wildlife, then cut the old stems back in early spring before new growth emerges. Use Sedum Autumn Joy in mixed borders, rock gardens, or as path edging. Its shifting colors pair beautifully with ornamental grasses and other fall bloomers. It's the ultimate plant-it-and-forget-it perennial, one that more than earns its space. Plant 3. Aconitum, Monkshood, the bold autumn statement. If your October garden needs drama and height, Aconitum, better known as Monkshood, delivers like few others can. This striking perennial saves its grandest performance for fall, sending up tall spires packed with hooded blooms in stunning shades of deep indigo, violet, and royal blue. Each blossom resembles a tiny helmet, hence the name, and these rich tones pop beautifully against the warm golds, rusts, and browns of the season. Few perennials can compete with that kind of contrast. Monkshood often continues flowering through late October, even stretching into early November in mild regions. Cool weather doesn't bother it one bit. In fact, the crisp nights seem to intensify its colors, keeping the blooms fresh far longer than most late-season flowers. Aconitum thrives in moist, fertile, well-drained soil and enjoys partial sun to light shade, especially some protection from harsh afternoon heat. Consistent moisture is key. They dislike drying out between waterings. Once established, these perennials become reliable long-term performers, returning year after year with even greater vigor. Growing up to 3–4 feet tall, they're perfect for the back of borders where their vertical form adds structure and height. Pair them with golden or copper-colored plants, ornamental grasses or sedums for rich autumn contrast. Important note, all parts of monk's hood are toxic if ingested. Be sure to plant it where children and pets won't accidentally touch or taste it. Despite that caution, Aconitum remains a standout addition, offering bold color, stately structure, and undeniable elegance right when your garden needs it most. Plant 4, Japanese Anemone. The graceful autumn dancer. Where monk's hood brings drama, Japanese anemones bring grace. These airy perennials sway delicately in the breeze, their simple white or soft pink blossoms floating above the foliage like small lanterns. Flowering from late summer through October, they provide one of the longest blooming periods of any fall perennial. Each blossom features 5 or 6 silky petals circling a golden center, creating a light, understated beauty that pairs easily with more vibrant plants nearby. As daylight shortens, the blooms seem to glow softly in low light, making them especially striking in the gentle sun of October afternoons. Japanese anemones prefer moist, well-drained soil and partial shade, though they can handle sunnier spots with consistent watering. They establish slowly, often taking a year to settle in, but once they do, they spread gently through underground rhizomes, forming elegant drifts of blooms over time, never invasive, always graceful. They're also low maintenance. In windy areas, a bit of subtle staking can help, but most stand tall on their own. They don't require deadheading to keep flowering, and they're rarely bothered by pests or disease. Japanese anemones fit beautifully in cottage gardens, mixed borders, or shaded corners where color options are limited. Their ability to keep blooming through light frost makes them a priceless addition to any autumn landscape. Plant 5, Aster Munch, the pollinator's paradise. Few plants say autumn quite like asters, and the variety Munch is one of the best for October brilliance. This powerhouse perennial explodes with masses of lavender-blue daisy-like blooms with sunny yellow centers, so many that the foliage nearly disappears beneath the color. From late September through October, sometimes even into early November, Munch puts on a show of non-stop blooms. What sets it apart from other asters is its compact growth, long flowering season, and strong resistance to powdery mildew, a problem that affects many other varieties. Cool weather actually enhances its performance, keeping the flowers bright and the plants healthy, well into the chilly season. Asters thrive in full sun and well-drained soil. Keep them watered regularly during their first year, but once established, they become hardy and resilient. For bushier growth and even more blooms, cut them back by half in early summer around June. This encourages branching and doubles the flower count later on. The true magic of Aster Munch lies in its value to pollinators. The nectar-rich blooms attract bees, butterflies, and other beneficial insects until the very first frost. When most flowers have faded, these asters become a crucial late-season food source, a living haven for pollinators preparing for winter or migration. Use Aster Munch in borders, cottage gardens, wildflower patches, or pollinator gardens. It pairs beautifully with grasses, rudbeckias, and bronze-toned sedums for a perfectly balanced fall palette. Naturally deer-resistant and easy to care for, this is another plant it and enjoy it perennial that rewards you with color, life, and purpose deep into autumn. Plant 6, Bergenia. The bold foliage beauty. Nicknamed elephant's ears for its large leathery leaves, Bergenia is a foliage-focused perennial that shines when other plants fade away. It forms thick clumps of broad, glossy evergreen leaves that stay sturdy and vibrant long after most perennials have withered. The leaves are incredibly tough, resisting frost, snow, and cold winds without flinching. But the real magic happens in October, when cooler nights trigger a stunning transformation. Bergenia's foliage shifts from green to rich tones of burgundy, bronze, red, and deep purple, turning this humble ground cover into a dramatic fall centerpiece. Adaptable and unfussy, Bergenia tolerates everything from partial shade to full sun and thrives in most soil types as long as drainage is decent. While it prefers moist, well-drained soil, established plants handle brief dry spells with ease. Over time, it spreads gently by rhizomes, forming dense clumps that provide excellent ground cover without becoming invasive. Add a layer of mulch in autumn to protect its roots and keep the clumps looking tidy through winter. Bergenia is naturally deer-resistant, largely pest-free, and asks for very little care, just an occasional division every few years if it becomes crowded. Use Bergenia along pathways or as bold edging for garden beds, where its texture and sheen can be admired up close. It also makes a superb low-maintenance ground cover, adding structure and greenery through the cold months. And when spring returns, it surprises you with clusters of delicate pink or white blooms, a lovely bonus to its year-round appeal. Plant 7, Tricertus, the toad lily's exotic touch. If you want something that feels rare and unexpected, Tricertus, also known as the toad lily, brings an exotic flair to autumn gardens, especially in shaded areas. These enchanting perennials produce intricate flowers that look like miniature orchids, each one speckled with purple or violet spots over a creamy white background. The blooms appear in late September and keep going through October, offering intricate detail long after most shade-loving plants have stopped flowering. Despite their delicate look, toad lilies are surprisingly hardy, standing up to cool weather and light frost with no trouble at all. Each bloom is a tiny masterpiece worth admiring up close, which is why they're best planted near paths, patios, or seating areas, where their unique details can be fully appreciated. Tricertus thrives in partial to full shade, with moist, humus-rich soil, perfect for woodland or shaded garden beds. They dislike drying out, so keep the soil evenly moist, especially during warm spells. Over time, they form dependable clumps that expand slowly, adding more stems and blooms each year. They're also deer-resistant and rarely affected by disease, making them a great low-maintenance choice. Pair toad lilies with ferns, hostas, or astalbes to highlight their fine floral patterns against broader foliage textures. If you've ever thought shade gardens were boring in fall, this plant proves otherwise. Tricertus brings a touch of the exotic just when you thought the show was over. Plant 8, Hechura Autumn Bride, where foliage meets flowers. Many gardeners know Hechura, also called coral bells, for its colorful leaves, but the Autumn Bride variety stands out for offering both stunning foliage and graceful flowers. This variety forms soft mounds of velvety green leaves that stay attractive late into the season, anchoring shaded beds with lush texture. But what truly sets it apart are its airy white flower spikes, which rise above the foliage from late summer into October. Each tiny bloom adds to a shimmering cloud-like effect that moves beautifully with the breeze, giving shaded corners lightness and motion. Autumn Bride thrives in partial shade, with moist, well-drained soil, and like other Hechuras, it's naturally deer-resistant. Maintenance is easy. Remove spent flower stems after blooming, tidy the leaves in early spring, and add a bit of mulch in fall to protect the crown during harsh winters. Use it as ground cover in shady beds, or as a mid-layer plant between taller perennials and shorter border edgings. It also pairs wonderfully with asters or ornamental grasses, balancing texture and tone for a soft, cohesive look. Hechura Autumn Bride is a master of subtle beauty, offering both enduring foliage and ethereal blooms when most plants have given up for the year. Plant number 9, Chelone, Turtlehead. Meet Chelone, better known as Turtlehead, named for its quirky blooms that really do look like a turtle poking its head from its shell. This hardy perennial keeps garden borders vibrant well into October, long after many summer flowers have faded. Its blooms, appearing in rosy pink and purple shades, rise proudly on sturdy stems from late summer right through the cool fall weeks, ensuring steady color during the seasonal transition. Beyond the flowers, Turtlehead earns admiration for its glossy, deep green leaves that stay attractive even late in the year. The plant grows naturally tidy, forming upright, compact clumps that keep your beds looking neat without much maintenance. Even when it's not flowering, its shape gives structure and presence to the garden. Chelone thrives in rich, moist soil and is happiest in partial shade or areas that stay damp, places where many other perennials struggle. Think along pond edges, rain gardens, or naturally wet corners of your yard. It actually enjoys more moisture than most plants, making it perfect for those tricky, soggy spots. Once it's settled, Turtlehead asks for almost nothing. No constant care, no fuss. It's deer-resistant and long-lived, returning stronger each year with thicker clumps and more blooms. In October displays, its upright habit adds welcome height and visual balance to borders. Try pairing it with shorter mounding plants or near water features where it can soak up the consistent moisture it loves. Turtlehead proves that even damp garden corners can stay colorful and full of life deep into autumn. Plant number 10, Colchicum, Autumn Crocus. If you love surprises, Colchicum, or Autumn Crocus, will become one of your fall favorites. This charming perennial creates an almost magical moment in October gardens. Its delicate, star-shaped lilac-pink flowers appear straight out of bare soil in early fall, long after its spring foliage has vanished. The effect feels almost otherworldly, like blooms emerging from thin air. Clusters of these flowers can blanket lawns, fill gaps beneath trees, or add bright spots to borders, transforming ordinary spaces into soft, colorful carpets. It's especially stunning in grassy areas where the blooms peek through like hidden jewels. Plant the corms, bulb-like roots in late summer, about 10 centimeters deep in sunny or lightly shaded spots with well-drained soil. By September or October, they'll reward you with their unexpected display. Once established, they're low maintenance and naturalize beautifully, spreading slowly each year to create bigger patches of color. Colchicum's life cycle is a bit unusual. Broad leaves appear in spring, die back in early summer, and then months later the flowers emerge alone in fall. To get the best effect, place them where the fading spring leaves won't be an eyesore, and where their sudden autumn blooms can shine. Few perennials deliver such delightful surprise and magic to October gardens. Plant number 11, Hosta Sum and Substance, the Golden Giant. Closing our list is one of the most impressive foliage plants for autumn, Hosta Sum and Substance. This variety is a true garden heavyweight, prized for its huge golden chartreuse leaves that keep their glow deep into October. Unlike most hostas that fade early or wilt under sunlight, this one actually enjoys a bit more sun, which intensifies its brilliant color. Each thick textured leaf can grow to the size of a dinner plate, creating bold architectural drama in garden beds. Its tough leaves also resist slugs far better than most other hostas, a major bonus for low-maintenance gardeners. This hosta thrives in rich, moist soil and does best with morning sun and afternoon shade. Once it's established, it tolerates short dry spells better than you'd expect.
The plant forms large, show-stopping clumps that can spread up to 1.5 meters across, so give it room to make an impact. Pair it with dark-leaved plants, fine-textured ferns, or near-water features where its bright foliage can reflect beautifully. In October, when other plants fade, Sum and Substance stands strong, vibrant, structural, and full of life. It proves that flowers aren't always necessary for garden beauty. Sometimes foliage alone steals the show. Closing section. Rewritten outro. And there you have it. 11 resilient perennials that make October one of the most stunning months in your garden. These aren't just plants that survive the chill, they thrive in it. From rich autumn foliage to late-season flowers, each one brings lasting texture, color, and structure when most gardens start to fade. These perennials reward you year after year, growing stronger, fuller, and more beautiful with time, all while asking for minimal care. That's what smart gardening is all about, planting once and enjoying the rewards for seasons to come. Before you head out, I'd love to know which of these plants caught your eye for your fall garden. Share your pick in the comments below. If this video helped you, pass it along to a fellow gardener, because good garden wisdom grows best when it's shared. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to Golden Garden Wisdom for weekly practical tips that actually work. No complicated steps, just real advice from one gardener to another. Now get out there, plant your October champions, and watch your fall garden come alive. Happy gardening, and I'll see you in the next video.